Hello everyone and welcome back to UE5 BP Guru. Today we are going to be looking at adding in some ambient sound. And when I say ambient sound, I'm not talking about sort of background music. I'm not talking about random bits of sound that you get when you like maybe enter an area. We're talking about sort of like, for example, there's rain here. So when you walk into this area, you'll hear rain sound. You may walk into a generator room and hear like a buzzing sound. You may go into a room with a flickering light and hear the flickering sound. It's sounds that will be specific to certain areas, and we want to control this with our camera switch. It's a perfect little thing we can use. So let me show you an example of what I mean for a second. So this is using this for now because I haven't set up event sounds, but this is using that system. So I walked in this area, you heard that sound. If I go back up, actually I think I have changed that to an event sound. We're covering that in the next episode anyway. But as we come into this hallway, you can hear like the light sound of the rain, and then if we go forward through the door, you hear a much louder version of it. If we come along here and we head into this corridor and into here, you can hear that light rain again. So we're going to cover that. That's what we're going to do. So you can go into different areas and have just this specific ambient sound playing that will just help enhance the feel of that area. So we're going to use the camera switch. I think that's the easiest way. Now, I'm going to use the tutorial one that I created to show it back in the day. And yeah, it's actually very, very simple. We have a lot of this running on our begin overlap. We will create a on end overlap, but let's actually add in the sound first. So we've got our active camera. What we're going to do is we're going to create a branch node here, and we're going to create a new boolean. So promote this to variable, and we'll call this play sound question mark. And if it's true, we're just going to play a sound, and we want to spawn a 2D sound for this one. And the reason we do a 2D sound is because we want it to play irrelevant of where the player is stood in comparison to where the sound is spawning. For example, if you are in a room with a generator sound, typically you can hear that anywhere. You don't have to be closer to the machine if you want to hear it louder. Then what we can do is we can promote this to a variable, and we're going to call this, we'll just call it playable sound. That should be fine. And we also want to take our volume multiplier. This is so you can get that effect of it being quieter if you're in a corridor or louder if you're outside. And we can leave that as volume multiplier. These three variables we're going to send to instance editable and expose on spawn. We're also going to do that for the playable sound. And we're also going to do that for the volume multiplier. And we're going to promote this here to a variable also. And we'll just call this one sound. This one doesn't need to be instance editable, expose on spawn. We're going to use that to destroy the sound. So that's kind of like the object reference. That's the sound coming in. That's the multiplier of the volume. And to finish this off, all we need is to add in an end overlap. So if you select our box down here in the components, we can come up here and hit the on component end. And we only want it to end if it's the player. And then we just need to stop that sound. We are going to do one other thing, and I'll explain. We can just do stop, sorry. I don't know why I was doing stop sound. If I plug this into here like this, we're going to hit an issue. If we have a box that doesn't have a sound assigned to it, when we exit that box, it's going to try and stop that sound, but the sound doesn't exist. So it's going to error out. So what we need to do is just add one last little node in here, which is valid, question mark. We'll plug that into the execute node. And if it is valid, we can stop that sound, just like this. And that's all you should need. So if we now, I'll drag it into a separate area, just so we, oh gosh, that's strobe lights, a bit crazy. Let's go back where we did our thingy. It's a bit dark. We'll do it here. So if we now drag this out, and this is now no different to the one that I have. We'll drag it up here so we can see it. If we look on the right-hand side, we can do all the things that we did before, but now we can play a sound. And we can choose that sound that we want to play. So for in my example here, we are using rain. And all we need to do now, if we want it to be quieter, is we can change that volume multiplier to something less, so it's quieter, and then when we step out, we can return it to full volume. And it's just a wonderful little trick to adding that little bit of atmosphere to your game, and especially in a Resident Evil game like this, where we're using those camera switches all the time, we just make use of that camera switch even more by adding these little ambient sound notifier things going on into the game as well. So hopefully you found that useful. Obviously, the next episode we're going to do is we're going to cover out how I did this little event, and we'll create a new event within this to add to this little scene, so you can see it all working as expected. But yeah, that sound is actually played on an event. I forgot that I actually changed that. And if we go upstairs again, like I showed before, we can now go down to the corridor, enter the corridor here, and you get the rain sound. And as we go outside, it gets just that little bit louder, making it feel like you actually stepped outside. It doesn't just continue that sound on, it changes to make you feel like you genuinely stepped outside. It's just that little added detail that makes the players just feel all that more immersed. But hopefully you found this useful, and it kind of gave you a bit of an idea on how to tackle ambient sounds within this Resident Evil tutorial. If you're new here, we're on the road to 10k subscribers, so if you could hit that sub button, it would mean the world to me. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Much love, take care, bye!